Hi, my name's Abby, I'm 22 and I'm from Adelaide. I've come from a background in rowing and switched across to cycling about 18 months ago. Haven't been doing too much serious training and haven't done any racing to date, but I'm quite keen to get into doing some road racing.
I'm from Adelaide. I've been riding a push bike for about 18 months now.
I'm from Sydney. I'm an architect. I'm 55 years old.
My name's John Taylor. Do some road racing and some track racing and some cross-country enduro racing.
Kevin Hannaford from Adelaide, mainly ride with the vets in Adelaide, do a bit of open, mainly road racing, the odd crit, a little bit of track thrown in.
I've just started getting into bike racing. I've done about 6 criterium races and I'm hoping to go further with the criterium racing and maybe start some road racing as well.
And riding about C grade or mid Division 1 handicaps.
Well, for many years I was just a hacker. And I was sort of unfocused in my riding, and then I slowly got into racing, and I realised there was a lot more to it than just sort of hitting it out with your friends. And so over the years, I just basically was trying to self-coach myself and reading books and so on and so forth. Not really ever getting very far, but sort of having a lot of fun. But eventually, I basically decided I should do something about it.
Oh, well, I initially was told that I had the week off, and I thought, well, goodness, this is fate, because I don't usually get many weekends off from work, so I thought, yeah, it's time to come down, and then I convinced my girlfriend to come down as well.
It was a lot of convincing on my partner's behalf, who's come along with this too, after having a week of holidays from work, and I thought it sounded like a great idea for me to come along as well and learn some new techniques for racing and a lot of skill work to build my power up.
I haven't been racing for very long, so there's a lot of things I don't know about it, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to learn some skills for road racing and some tactics, and go into our road racing season, which is just about to start, and apply them.
I wanted to come down to this camp to try and develop a bit better training regime. Basically, being a shift worker, I have trouble getting a set program, I guess, for training, and wanted a few ideas on how I can better utilise the time that I've got.
The skill work, so I don't have particularly, well, what I think to be particularly good bike handling skills, and to do with group and bunch riding, which did a lot of work on today, and also working at higher intensities. I'm sort of quite used to going on long, sort of medium intensity rides that don't do much high intensity work, so I wanted to learn how to do pieces like that.
I wanted to make sure that my riding techniques were correct, or close to it at least, and to learn some sprinting techniques, which I haven't done much sprinting.
Well, I'd done the boot camp where I had such a terrible time, and I suffered horribly, and then I realised, well, perhaps climbing hills wasn't my forte. But I could see where this was all going, and then I saw just the promos for the RaceRight camp, and it seemed to fit with me and what I do, so here I am.
Okay, third golden rule. Races are won and lost during the decisive moment of the race. How many people got to the end of the race? Oh, I missed the move. You're either in the move or you weren't. Okay? So anyone can ride and bunch, after a bit of training, 35k an hour. Anybody can do that. If you can pull 170 watts, you can ride in a bunch. In fact, if you can pull 120 watts, plus a few little surges, you can ride in a bunch at 35k an hour, Right? Anybody can do that. Anybody in this room can do that. Right? These are the riders that you need to identify in the race. Alright? There's plenty of them, especially in the lower grades. You don't usually see too many of them in A grade, but in the lower grades of the race, entire grade, it's like filled with all these riders. Okay? So these are the riders, you want to identify them so that you can use them to your advantage and ensure that they wear themselves out while you stay fresh. Alright? And you can use them to your advantage without them even knowing about it. Alright? Isn't that great? Okay? So there's 3 of them: the hero, the epic solos, and the 5-second wonder.
The highlight for me of the camp was the piece we did in the trainer this morning with the high intensities and the sprint pieces, because it did put me so far out of my comfort zone, something that I'm really not used to doing, and was a bit nervous coming into it, to be honest. Wasn't sure I'd quite be able to do it, but I surprised myself and I did, and I'm going to take that away when I go home to build it into a training program so that I can do some sprint pieces to improve my high intensity work.
There we go. Enjoying it down here at the camp. Got to finish it off, 30 seconds, almost there. Come on guys. Gonna hit a little.
The best part of the camp was probably the fact that it was so individualised. I was a little bit nervous coming into the camp, not having too much experience, thinking I'd be a little bit out of my depth. But I think the highlight for me was the fact that it was so individualised, and I didn't feel like I was, slowing others down. I was just working within my own limits to improve my own strength.
What I really like, because I haven't really been training with numbers and power meters, was basically actually having that discussion about, to do this type of race or this type of event, you need these type of watts for these types of minutes and this sort of stuff. So that's the sort of stuff I found really, really useful.
Seeing some of those power figures is pretty impressive.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good to get the hard work out of the way first.
We rocked up and everyone was very welcoming. That was really good.
The ergo sessions, what can be achieved in those?
Abby had a few, my girlfriend she's not that experienced as a cyclist, but and she was worried that it was going to be like a torture camp and she was going to get left kilometres down the road, but that never happened.
I thought it was a good way to start the morning and get out on the trainers and then out on the road and have a hot shower, feed up, and then do the theory work in the afternoon. It's good.
If the people, it's and getting to mix with a whole other bunch of cyclists that you might do that for 2 hours on a Saturday, but how many other times of the year do you get to really live and breathe cycling for 2 days? Yeah.
Been very well run, very friendly people that are on the camp.
I really enjoyed it. I expected to, and I did.
I like the nutrition stuff, and I really like the stretching and sort of mobile stuff, because I'm not really good at that. I really stiffen up because I sit it all day at a desk, moving a mouse.
Today about race strategy and realising that your energy in a race, you have to ration that, and it's you're not doing yourself any favours by sitting on the front churning out exhausting yourself on the front of a race. You need to race smarter than that if you want to come up with a win.
For me, the information sessions were a real benefit, particularly with the how to structure a training program, nutrition. Something that I haven't really thought about with cycling. I'm quite used to a structured training program with rowing, and it was kind of a bit of a breakthrough for me to say, oh right, I know how to do that. I can structure a training program and actually train properly to improve my outcomes.
Well, I'll be doing a lot more sprint training. Track season starts soon, so hopefully it'll put me in good stead for riding on the track as well.
I think the weekend has certainly acted a bit like a catalyst for my own motivation. You start something here, you learn how to stretch, you learn how to warm up and cool down, and you learn how to train effectively, and you've had 2 solid days of doing that, so all you have to do now is carry that over at home, and then you'll really see some improvement with your cycling.
I'd recommend it to anyone that wanted to come away and learn a bit about racing.
Location was perfect, accommodation was great. I thought it was really well structured, doing the work in the morning and having sort of the more laid back information sessions in the afternoon. I definitely recommend it to even inexperienced cyclists who want to improve their training techniques and their high intensity work.